Crusoe is the big koala that I have taken many photos of over the years. One year I hadn't seen him for a long time and Tim had heard a koala down near the dam. So that morning I took my camera with my long lens down to take a picture of Crusoe. When I looked at the photos close up, I found that Crusoe had an eye problem. All his eyes were infected and he didn't look good. I sent the photo to a friend of Katie's who used to work at Australia Zoo, and he said, you need to get that koala to a hospital. He's got pink eye, possibly chlamydia. So I contacted the local wildlife rescue, and Judy and her husband came out and they rescued Crusoe, looked at his eyes and said, yes, he's got to go to hospital. So off he went, firstly to Brisbane, and they sent him to Australia Zoo. Crusoe was in Australia Zoo Hospital for 6 weeks. They treated him for the eye disease that's associated with chlamydia, a disease in koalas that shortens their life and makes them infertile. And kept me up to date every time I rang to see how Crusoe was going, because they couldn't give me a guarantee that he'd pull through. When he got the go-ahead that he could come home, Judy brought him back. Oh, they're so clear.
Yeah, look good, eh?
Oh, he's looking so good. Hey, you're home, mate.
That's a good result.
Isn't he lovely? Oh, it's so lovely to see him back. These are the moments we do it for.
It is, isn't it? Okay.
And Crusoe popped out of his little cage and his eyes were just so clear. He looked absolutely gorgeous. And she let him go, and the first thing he did was he went over to a little tree and he climbed up the tree halfway and he looked at us. And he looked at us with so much love, and he just sat there. And then off he went up to the top of the tree and started eating. I've always had an interest in photography from the very first time I took a photograph of Katie and the koala in the tree. I find that a small camera isn't good enough to take a good shot, so I bought myself better equipment and a long telescopic lens. This one is a 600mm lens. That way I can zoom in on any of the wildlife in the trees and I can take a really good photograph. So basically I can get my camera out at all times of day. I find early in the morning is really good, late in the afternoon is good, middle of the day is a little bit harder. I zoom in, I take them from all angles. I also take multiple images on burst mode. That way I get my koala looking really good, with his eyes open, nicely positioned in the tree, and I can choose which photograph is the best. One of the very best days of my photographing koalas here is the day that I saw Robin and little CJ together on a branch. And they were just absolutely gorgeous. I didn't have my camera, so I ran up to the house as fast as I could, ran back down, and they were still there.
You see?
Yeah, right up in
I
the
think.
top of the tree.
Come on.
Yeah.
Let's to the right a little. Move to the right.
He's excited. You saw him this morning, huh?
Yeah. Yeah.
I heard this yell and I thought, oh, maybe they're onto it. Yeah.
You can always tell when we spot a koala.
Well, you're in the vicinity, and I thought,
Dad gets a phone call when I'm walking.